What is up, friends? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Laura if you've never been here before, and if you haven't, make sure you hit that little subscribe button below. I am here today to talk to you about another grief topic. All of my topics are typically about grief, mountaineering, a little bit of travel, a little bit of all of those kind of topics, which is me in one. So thank you for stopping by. If you do like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up as well. So today I'm going to be bringing you through my 5 kind of favorite grief topic books, or topics that I enjoyed during my first year or two of grief that I have read. I do not actually have them here to show you. I do a lot of like book trades. If you're traveling, if you're going through a hostel or anything like that, they always have like book trades that you can do. Leave a book, grab a book. I'll sometimes leave a grief book, or if they're just someone that I know who's now going through grief, a lot of times I'll pass those along. So I don't even have any of them to show you, but I will link each of them below, so that you can just purchase them for Amazon. All of them are super affordable, and then like I said, you can always pass them on to someone, which is always very appreciated, and I think it's a very nice gift for someone. So my first one actually is called, sorry, I wrote them down here, is Healthy Healing. So it is by Michelle, who is the founder of One Fit Widow. If you've ever heard of her, I would highly recommend. I like always her aspect on grief. She is a fellow widow herself and just kind of a wonderful role model in terms of moving forward in a very healthy way. Her book talks a lot about exercise and kind of getting fit through her grief journey, and how you can too, which I honestly I like. I think that my reasoning for actually really liking exercise when you're going through grief is actually because it's something that you suddenly can be in control of. Suddenly your life feels very out of control. I like to look a lot of my grief process in terms of why I'm doing things the way I'm doing them, and one of the reasons for fitness, I think a lot of people when they're going through grief, is because it's suddenly something that they can control. I really like that book. She's very descriptive of kind of her life, her process, her grief process, but also in a very healthy way. So I totally would recommend. Like I said, I'll link everything below. The second book is called It's Okay That You're Not Okay. I actually follow her on Instagram. I think she's got a really good Instagram page too. A lot of her book is it's just shedding light. You know, grief is not fun. Grief is a very lonely process, and you can kind of feel like you're going crazy, like I said in my last video. But also you feel like no one around you is understanding, and you're not sure why. So the whole title, like I said, It's Okay That You're Not Okay, makes complete sense with this book. It's okay that you're still grieving, or you're having these really terrible days, and actually giving light to that. And I've even quoted her in this book a few times on my Instagram page, which I'll also link below. And I just think that it's a really great way of showing grief and showing that you're not alone in the process. So that's why it made my list at number 2. My number 3 is The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. I got this book actually as a gift at my late husband James's funeral. I liked this book a lot. I wasn't a huge reader, and I'm still not like a huge reader, but I do enjoy, I think that they're like a nice thing when I'm in an airport, when I'm on a plane, just while I'm like in between things, if I'm on a beach, all those kind of things. So I really like this book because I think it kind of switches some things that I think most people, when they're going through grief, they start thinking about heaven, and they start kind of thinking about afterlife in general. So I think it actually gives, if I were to think about who the 5 people in my life who have influenced me the most, this book shed a lot of light on that and why those people. And I think for me personally, I would hope that I live to be 100 years old, and you know, I'm 29 right now. My husband passed away 2.5 years ago, and you know, he was only in my life for 6 years. So for me, 6 years out of the 100 years, if I live that long, you know, that's not actually a long time, but actually, you know, if I lived to be that long and I was 98, there's not a doubt in my mind that I wouldn't still be thinking about James very heavy. So that's one of the reasons that I really like that book. It just sheds light into, and sometimes it will be someone who you didn't expect, but a little comment. Even for me, there's someone who, the line of work that I do with marketing and being able to be a digital nomad, that line of work kind of just started with someone just saying like just this really little thing, and I kind of thought like, I could make that happen and stuff. And that person probably actually had a huge impact on my life, that one little comment. So it's just kind of the people that you meet along the way that end up really shaping you, and then you end up meeting them in heaven. So I do like that book a lot. The fourth one is When Bad Things Happen to Good People. I feel like my reasoning for liking this book was when James passed away, it was very much, it wasn't a why me situation, although I'm sure it was a little bit, especially in bad days, kind of a bit of a pity party, table for one. But at the same time, I think a lot of people around me, not a lot, but some people around me, or I just would notice it even if I was like at the grocery store or something, they just wouldn't be very good humans. And it really, really upset me. This actually was probably one of my biggest things that, you know, I felt very upset about. I felt like, how come that person, and you'd be talking, maybe you'd be talking with them, and they would be like, oh my gosh, the worst thing in the world just happened today. Like, I got a cold. And you'd be like, so for me, those things really bother me, because A, that's not the worst thing in the world, cheers, and B, now I feel like I didn't deserve this, you know, and I think that book just kind of sheds light, and I never want to have that kind of pity party mentality. I don't want to have a why me philosophy, but I feel like especially at the very beginning of grief, that book really helped me, and that was my reasoning behind it. My fifth book is because if anyone knows me, knows I love travel, I love adventure, and I love hiking and all those kind of things. So during any time in my grief journey, it has not been completely about grief that I will read books. Even if you're looking at my Instagram page, you will know it's not all about grief. It's just about me as a person and kind of throughout my journey. So that is why my fifth book is called She Explores. I'm a very big advocate of going and doing something, even by yourself, and kind of learning the person that you are now. A lot of times I think that a lot of people think of, you know, she's going to travel, or she's going to do these things to kind of like either maybe like a fight or flight situation, or just like, oh, that's what she needs to do before like she's okay again. My first comment back to that would just be that I've always been a very adventure person. I lived out of a suitcase prior to James passing away and went traveling. But also I think that you realize how strong of a person you are when that person passes away. You know, days before James passing away, if you told me he was going to, I would like not believe you, first of all, but also kind of look at it in terms of like I wouldn't be able to handle that. And when your worst kind of nightmare happens and you have to handle it, that's when you realize how strong you really are. And I'm very proud of myself for kind of what I've accomplished and been able to work through. So something like going solo traveling, or something like climbing that huge mountain, that's no longer a fear of mine. That's not something that I don't think is attainable for me. I think that if I work hard towards it, I can accomplish those things. And so that's why kind of travel books travel books I like and I can relate to, and it just doesn't make everything about grief. It just kind of makes something about now a goal and moving forward in my life and seeing some positive things that can happen still in my life even though this has happened. So it's definitely not it's not a book about grief. It's just a book about some wonderful adventures and travels and mountains and hiking and kind of all Youre things. So that's why I had that one on my list, is just because I'm someone who I never want to fully be kind of defined as someone who is a young widow. It's something that I'm very proud of, but it's not something that I want to define me. So if you are someone that is going through grief, I strongly recommend you taking a look at any of these books. There also are some great ones on Amazon. You know, you can pick up a bunch for under $100, that's for sure. And it's just kind of some good reads and some really great tips. So those are a few of my favorites. If you have some other favorites, I would love to know what they are, and maybe I can pick them up. So make sure you comment them below. Like I said, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like this video. I appreciate it, helps out your channel, helps out me, and now it can be your good deed for the day. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep living life, guys.